Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to Kennesaw Happenings podcast. I'm Golfer Pete, your host, and I have in the studio the Bug Man, and he came highly recommended by Iris, who Iris you might know was rescuing donkeys, and so she does something really unique. But so she recommended that I talk to and have a guest on Danny the Bug Man, or one dead bug, I think. Okay, well,
That's right.
Okay, before I stumble on that, I'm going to let Danny introduce himself, tell you who he is, the business he has, and who he serves, and then we're just going to let you get to know Danny.
Excellent. Yeah. First off, Pete, thanks a lot for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to get to do it. Might be my first one.
Ooh, I always like the first. Yes. Yes.
Well,
That's
again,
good.
my name's Danny. I run One Dead Bug is my company. It was family owned. It was my dad's retirement gig. And I decided when he was done that it was time to move it to the forefront and bring it kind of into the light a little more. It was mostly just a referral, small, 60, 75 customers. And we're growing like a weed and just loving it. I love what I do. I think that makes the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the guests we have on, you can hear the joy in what they do.
Absolutely.
So how did your dad get into business? Like, what was the initial desire there?
Well, initially, he just needed a job.
Yeah.
When I was born in Dallas, Texas, it was a little tough financial time, 82. So
okay.
They were looking for work, and my dad was headhunted from Dallas by a company in Atlanta, Apcoa. And through being bought and moving around in Atlanta, he ended up at a company called Pest Free and had never done pest control in his life and found that he was a great fit for it. My pops is a stickler for details, and they ended up putting him in a branch manager position shortly after he moved there. And from there, he moved through many other pest control companies and ended at Termbex.
Oh, okay.
He was a regional vice president with them and decided that it was time to retire when both kids were out and gone and he could enjoy himself and some golf.
Well, that's good because I love the word golf that you said that, because my tagline is Golfer Pete. So my ears perk up when I hear that. Do you do any golfing?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I did in college. I'd like to say I do more of it.
Okay.
I do a lot more killing bugs these days and managing. But I played. I enjoy it a lot and hopefully get to play with my dad as much as he gets to play in some period of time. Golf was a big part of my life and would like to continue.
Well, being on the Kennesaw Happenings, you have a connection to my golf podcast. So, you just have to say the word golf and
opening up doors.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Because my partner's not a golfer. He's up in Canada. And people will say to him, like, Jeff, you got to play golf. And some people it just doesn't connect with.
Sure.
But, obviously, I not obvious, but I played since I was 15, so I was kind of hooked, but took off about 20 years when my girls were growing up.
Yeah.
But then when you become empty nester, you go, okay, time to get back.
Yeah, and that's one of the greatest things about golf is you can come to it at almost any point in your life.
Yes.
And it's just a wonderful hobby.
Yes. Do you play in any golf charity events?
Really, I haven't had a chance.
Okay.
I bought this company from my father back January of last year. Well, It's been a year and 8 months or so.
Okay.
And I bought it from him. It was his little retirement gig. And he was ready to sell, and I was wanting to keep it in the family.
Right.
And so I started doing some training in a couple of different organizations, did some commercial work, and then worked for another company and did strictly residential. Just wanted to have a good idea of the scope of what I was getting into.
Right.
I was a glass blower for about a decade. Yeah, I spent. I was a shop foreman at Frable Studios in Atlanta, where my dad and I got to work together.
Okay.
When he first retired, we got to spend a lot of time together. We got to drive to work together, work at the office, come
Mhm.
home together. We're very involved in each other's lives. And that goes for both my parents, really.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to have them around.
So when you say glass, like I have a friend that works up in Asheville at Lexington Glass. It's like the #2 destination when you go up there.
Oh, yeah.
Are you talking about like commercial glass or
I'm talking about
artistic glass?
artistic glass.
Okay.
Now we would do it in kind of an assembly line type process.
Okay.
Depending on how many of something we had to do for a project.
Mm-hmm.
We would do Peachtree Road Race peaches in Atlanta. So, we were doing hundreds and hundreds of those at a time.
Okay.
And dogwood festivals. So a lot of those were some of the big sellers.
Right.
For sure. And I found it after banking. I got kind of a gross taste in my mouth after college, getting into the banking industry.
Right.
Thought I'd take a break, find what I really wanted to do. And that's where I ended up, was blowing glass.
Well, do you feel like it sounds like you enjoy more working with your hands than
Absolutely,
like crunching numbers and things
yeah, I'm
like
a hands-on guy.
Okay.
Passed on the OCD from my father to me.
Okay.
And I like everything to be in their place, and I use my hands to put them there.
Well,
sure.
Not only do we have golf in common, we have OCD in common.
Oh,
Yeah, everything in this place has a place for
that's
it.
right.
I mean, if you open one of those doors, you're going to see like I had Maria on here yesterday, and Maria. So I was showing off some of my OCD with her.
Yeah.
And just,
she could appreciate that.
Yeah, she did. Because, she was talking about, make sure you have baskets to put things in, just organizing, because it saves you so much time.
Oh, man, does it.
So when did you discover that you had that OCD in you? What was that?
It was this job.
Oh, really?
This job. I knew I had some tendencies when I was in the glass industry, which helped a lot.
Right.
They need to be perfectly to spec. Everything has to be, when I say perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets thrown in the trash if you're millimeters off.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that's where I discovered it. But in this job, you deal with so many chemicals to so many different products, pests, and there's so many different combinations, and having all those things at finger length, being able to access them all really helps with time management through the day, for sure. And I rescue dogs.
Okay.
Well. That's something Irish Tea and I had in common. Is in college, I used to rehome ex-fight dogs, or troubled animals that were given back to the Humane Society or wherever, and I would work with them to get them home ready for the children and people, and they would be out on their own way.
That is awesome.
Yeah, well, they broke up a fight ring in Dallas last year, a couple hundred animals, and they're thinking that this was one of the bait dogs that was there. It's my recent pup.
Right.
His name is Divot. Because he had a crushed skull.
Right.
He was blind. He had mange, and he is diabetic, and only 1 year old.
Okay.
So they gave me the call on that one. That's kind of a tough situation. It's to give a pup like that to a family that's never had an animal before.
Yeah.
You got to take his blood and give him his insulin every day, 2 times a day. He rides with me in the truck if the weather's right, which it is here in Georgia, except for the summer.
Right.
He gets to ride with me.
Nice.
Yeah, he's my bug buddy.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's always we had 4 dogs growing up. So
I know all about it.
Yeah, from the big lab to the small mutt type dog, mixed breed. Yeah. So I understand. We had 3 at one time, which gets kind of crazy.
Two's my max.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know how my daughter was good at getting the dogs to us, and then she was good at like handing them over to us. So it was always like, okay, we got another one.
Yeah.
So, but they're as cute as can be when
they definitely occupy a corner of my heart.
Yeah, I could see that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk you said something about at the beginning, like golf. So you played in school or high school or
I
college
did.
or when
I tried to get on the team in high school. It was at Harrison.
okay.
And at the time, Kennesaw Mountain didn't exist.
Okay.
Alatoona High School didn't exist.
Yeah.
Harrison was huge.
Yes.
And they eventually had to split the school, and it was just juniors and seniors
Right.
at the school. And I couldn't make the team.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't near good enough.
Right.
I didn't live in Brookstone. I didn't have a golf
Yes.
course to practice on every
Yes.
day.
Yes.
I would like to say I was able to go to the driving range and practice a bunch, but
Mm-hmm.
I was the drum major in high school.
Right.
So I was a band nerd. And it
Okay.
occupied my life.
Right.
And once you pick a thing
Yeah.
in high school, you know, your world starts to revolve around it. And at that time, it was music.
Okay. Well, music and golf are pretty good hobbies there. I'll tell you that.
I'm an art head.
Okay.
Sure.
Really, that is very, I mean, it's good because I was never the music person. I could do a pretty good job in the shower singing, but that's about it, you know, and carrying, knowing the lyrics, the songs wasn't my forte.
Mine either.
Yeah.
Mine either. But I can remember the song.
Yes. Yeah. That's the cool part about it. You had a good golfer at Harrison. He played on the tour for a little bit.
Yeah. It kind of put me in my place.
Yeah. What was his name?
I'm going to be searching books for that.
Okay. Yeah. I know he was a guy that never wore a golf hat. And so it was kind of his niche out there that he didn't like a hat on. And I
have to look it up.
Yeah. Because he played, I was at a golf tournament out at Georgia, the country Georgia club. And he won an amateur out there, and the guy was telling me about him. And so he played for like a couple years. I don't know what he's doing now. I haven't seen his name pop up. But,
if you do well in golf for just a couple years,
yes,
you'll do all right.
Absolutely. So what do you think, like, when it comes to like the challenging part of running a business, what do you see? What do you are challenged by? What can you share with our viewers that's an issue that is hard?
Well, I tell you, let's see, that's a good question. There's a lot of difficult things in my industry. The changing of the laws, very common. Keeping up to date with that. Being able to track down the pesticides you need. Having just a rough time with shipping and having what you need at hand. I am learning that employing people is a new strategy I need to really learn how to do. And being a good manager, you know, figuring out where my time needs to be, whether it's in the field or working on SEO on my new website. You know, I just trying to find that right balance, you know, making sure my emails don't go unanswered. Keeping up with the text messages and getting some help on that end really was a game changer for me, for sure.
Well, you know, when it comes to all the new technology and the digital world, it's a lot for business owners to kind of digest. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Where do you see yourself, like, if you could like throw yourself out there a couple years, where would you want to take One Dead Bug?
I'd love us to have a couple branches.
Okay.
You know, we service pretty much north of 20.
Okay.
And west of 75. We do service east of 75, mostly the Cobb County area, Marietta, up to Woodstock and Canton. But I'd love to be able to cover the other side of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, I think our service is something that could be used in a lot more places. And that's something I think that's missing in most of our industries now, is the customer service aspect.
No.
COVID, we lost a lot of that. You know, everybody got kind of used to being separated. Right. And a lot of businesses have taken that and used it as an advantage and have shortened a lot of their services, you know, only outside, you know, and a lot of those companies stayed that way. Whereas if your bugs are inside, that's where I need to be.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But to be said, there are a lot of big breaks in the industry and chemicals that have come out that allow us to do most of what we need to do on the outside of homes and keep the chemicals there. Right. Outside of the home. and they break down so much easier. It's a lot better time for chemicals than it was pretty much every decade previous.
Mm-hmm.
Most of everything we use now is very biodegradable and does not stay around forever.
Right.
I'm sure there's still some homes in Atlanta glowing from some of the chemicals used in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt there.
Yeah. So,
kind of scary when you hear different areas, not, maybe not here, but, when something happens, those toxic chemicals make a difference when it gets into all the water supply and all that
absolutely.
kind of stuff. So,
and then I think we all got a really good idea of exactly how much it can affect everything with DDT.
Yes.
They used it from everything to delousing humans coming back from World War II to get rid of their bugs or whatever they have, to aerial applications at farms, and I think that was the main cause in the breakdown of eggs for birds. And through the industry learning that, was able to affect bugs in a different way.
Right.
Look for different methods. A lot of the stuff now is natural oils, clog the bug up, so it can't do its stuff. There are just a lot of different methods when it comes to the pesticides.
There's more than people think.
Oh,
and I tell you what I really like when Iris recommended you. Your company name is simple and easy to remember. And I tell you, we have people on, and there's a guy that has an Italian restaurant, and he's Italian, and I can't pronounce the name of the restaurant. I mean, it's like, keep it simple, keep it simple. Our brains are simple, and like that name is simple. One dead bug, man, that's brilliant.
From their pest control provider.
Yes.
One dead bug.
I know. That's awesome. When Iris said that, I went, holy mackerel, I love it.
Yep, that was my dad.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So he came up with the name.
Yep.
Oh,
yep. I kept
it. That's probably wise, because
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yes. No, I totally agree. So I know you have plenty of things to do, and we appreciate you coming on and being on our podcast. So how can people get a hold of you?
You can reach out to our website, and that's onedeadbug.com.
Okay.
Like I said, try to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
You can also reach out to me at Danny, DANNY, at onedeadbug.com.
Okay.
We'll keep it more simple.
Okay.
And they can reach me at 678-770-5699.
Awesome. And our viewers that are out there that may be driving, we're going to put it in the show notes. So you just go to the show notes and you click on the links and be able to get a hold of Danny and his company.
And if you mention this podcast, I'll be happy to work a discount for you.
Awesome. Hey, Absolutely. Look, our viewers always love to save money. And with inflation kind of hitting us hard, we appreciate you sharing that with our viewers. That's good. So what we always ask two things. One is, is there a person that you think of that our community would love to have as a guest that you could refer us and recommend us to?
I have a yard guy.
Okay.
He's called Yard Guy Chad.
Dang. Okay.
He is an incredible person.
Okay.
I've only had the pleasure of meeting him 5-6 times this summer when he would come to do the yard.
Right.
But you want to talk about a guy that gets the job done.
Right.
Gets it done the right way.
Okay.
And does it for a very affordable price.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
It's a great talk, great chat.
Well, when we go live, I'll have Bartina reach out to you or just send us an email. We'd love to get a hold of him and get him on our podcast.
I'd love to provide him with that.
That's awesome. We always let our guests leave us with something that you'd want our viewers to know. So is there something you could share with us that our viewers on, like the guest's last word?
Yeah, that's a tough one on the spot. Let's see. I would say help me bring customer service back.
Yeah.
Hold people that do the work for you accountable.
Yes.
For doing the job they say they're going to do.
Yes.
And, ask where it is. If it's not there, because they need to know that too.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a wave through the country. And we need to get our customer service back in our industries, not just pest control, but all of them.
Totally agree with you. It seemed like Chick-fil-A is doing a bang out job out there. Everybody ought to kind of zero in and taking care of those customers. And thanks. That's very good advice. And thank you, Dan. This has been Danny Baldwin with One Dead Bug. And thank you for tuning in to the Kennesaw Happenings podcast. We appreciate you listening.
Thank you.